Hi my friends, today we are going to learn how to do the technique I used in my bushel and a peck sign, as well as this new love you till the cows come home sign. The wood has a very distressed, weathered look to it, and I'm going to show you the easy steps you can take to achieve that same look on your own. So what you're going to need to do is have a bowl of water and just your normal kitchen sponge cut into just a little, 1.5 inch chunk. I buy my sponges at Walmart. You get 4 of them for $1.97, and I can get 6 small application sponges out of each. So for $2, I get 24 sponges. And I opt to stain using acrylic paint instead of stain. It dries faster, you don't have the odor, and it's a lot easier to ship in DIY kits. So today I'm going to be staining using apple barrel burnt umber. And I have some in a little cup from a video demonstration I did for my subscription members for the DIY kit for January. So I'm just going to use this cup of paint, but it's this apple barrel burnt umber. And then for the top coat, I'll be dry brushing this light ivory Delta cream coat. But that will be done on top of the stained wood. So let's go ahead and start staining our wood. So what you're gonna do is you're also gonna have handy a styrofoam plate or a paper plate or any sort of paint mixing surface. And you're gonna just get some of the paint, and you're gonna kind of squeeze some water to make a watered down color. The less water you use, the darker the stain will be. And you can always get some more water and just kind of mix it on your plate, make your own water-based stain. And the nice thing about this, you can literally use any color of paint. And then you're just gonna wanna go with the grain and just see how easy this stains. Now you'll notice on this till the cows come home sign, I did score lines on the board to know where to glue the cow and where to glue the words. The file does come with the lines scored on it. If you don't want to use the score lines, feel free to set your Glowforge or laser setting to ignore. You can see how quickly it is to stain it. I am using for the base of this sign a 1/4 inch Baltic birch, but if you only have MDF on hand, you can just do a base coat of the brown, because once we stain it and once we do the cream coat dry brushing, you really honestly don't see much of the wood grain, so it wouldn't make too much of a difference if you only have MDF on hand. You can also use 1/8 inch birch. I just like to go with a little bit thicker wood for the base to give the sign a little bit more sturdiness. All right, you see how fast that was? We're gonna go ahead and let this dry. When this is done drying, we will come back and we will use like a painting bristle brush. You can even buy those chip brushes if you have those on hand. You just need something with a little bit more stiffer bristle. And then we'll use our cream coat. and we'll dry brush the colors over the top. But first we're gonna let this dry. Okay, so the sign is dry. It didn't take long at all for it to dry, which is nice because if it was stained, it would have taken a lot longer. All right, so now I'm gonna get my light ivory paint and I'm gonna add a little bit to a disposable plate. I'm gonna have a paper towel handy for getting any excess paint off. And what you're gonna do is you're going to just get just little bits of paint on the tips of your bristles. And less is more because you can always come back and add some more. And you're just gonna go the length of the wood. I'm gonna move my water out of the way. And you're just gonna get more paint. And you're just gonna continue this process until you get the look that you're going for. Okay, so I think this time I'm gonna go with a little bit less than normal just because I want some more of the wood finish to show through. So let me see if I can show you a little bit better how good this looks. Okay, and then here's a little sneak peek of my little cow. So now I'll just use the guides to glue my words on. In fact, while I have you with me, I'm going to show you how I make the edges of my words look like they have a little bit of rust on it, so it fits with the feel of the rest of the sign. But here is my cow. This cow comes in a few layers. So you'll have the base layer that has the ears and the head built into it. Then you have a second layer, which is just the head with the little fur accents on the ears. And then you have the eyes, which fit on top, and the nose, which fit on top, which makes it easy for layering, painting, and assembling. Okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way. And now we're gonna talk about adding a little bit of rust edges to the bits of my letters. I use a red color, this straw color, some orange, and then I also use a little bit of brown, and it's usually one of the redder browns. So in this case, these are some old paints. The letters with the paints with letters on them were when my mom and I used to toll paint together. She would buy some colors, I would buy some colors, and then we would share. So the N's belonged to my mom and the JWs belonged to me. My mom has since passed and I inherited her paint. So even though this is practically empty and I probably should get new, there's something a little special about still using her paints. Okay, so the colors I'm gonna go with is milk chocolate for the brown. The orange is a Martha Stewart carrot. The yellow is Delta Cream Coat Empire Gold. And the red is Delta Cream Coat Bright Red. So you're just gonna add a little bit of these onto your plate. These older ones, the little kind of dried out some, so they don't squeeze out very nicely. But I'm a creature of habit and they still work. Okay, and so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a makeup sponge. Oh, let me also mention, oops, making messes over here off camera. You're gonna want a dark charcoaly color or black to kind of soften up the rust if you end up getting too much rust. All right, so you're gonna take your makeup sponge, and I just clip mine in half. I like to get as much use out of it as I can. And then the funny thing is, I'll just use one edge, and then when the paint dries, I'll just clip off that edge, and I just keep going till it's a nib. Okay, so you're going to get a little bit of red and brown and yellow and orange. And you don't want to necessarily mix them together, but you want to marry them together, if that makes sense. Because you want to be able to see the different hints of each color. I'm going to zoom in for you and see if I can get you in on this detail. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna just turn on my light. The sun is going to the back of the house, and so my light is fading. Perfect. Okay. Oh, now you can see the words. All right, so you can see I have a bunch of dead space. I like to just get some of the extra paint off the sponge and just kind of lightly dab where you think little bits of rust might nest itself or make its home. If these were metal words. Guys, lately I've been feeling like, I don't know if I can say his name, Bob Ross, with my painting techniques. I just kind of feel like, oh, and this letter needs a little happy little rust on its end, and I know, silly. Channeling my inner PBS painter. All right, and then you can go over the areas that you want more rust, and then you can take the black paint, or sometimes I use a really dark gray. I know dark gray is black, but not quite black. To just go over and just kind of get rid of some. It's really hard to get the perfect amount of rust, and so it's just a game of rust black, or rust dark gray to get the perfect balance. And you don't even have to do this step. I feel like when I do my rustic signs, I want it all to feel rustic and not necessarily distressed wood and bright black letters. And yeah, you just kind of add a little extra in some areas, not in others. If you've seen my love chicken wire sign, it's on my website under the Valentine collection. I did this technique to the entire heart cookie cutter. and just went over and over with different layers and a little bit more brown until I was happy with it. All right. Okay, I think I'm done adding the rust in. It looks really messy on your camera or on the video camera, but don't forget, a lot of this will be left behind from the wood nesting. Okay, so now I'm gonna call myself done with the rest. And so I'm going to just clip the end of the sponge off. See, brand new. And then I'm going to, I really honestly, oh, there's my gray, dark gray paint. It's in plain sight. All right, and then I'm just going to dab my sponge right into there because I just need a little bit. I'm just gonna go over some areas to kind of soften the rust. It might not photograph very nicely, but in person it makes a huge difference as opposed to just having solid black letters on an antiqued sign. And again, I'm just going over the gray just to soften the rust color and to soften the edges of the sponge, because the edges of the sponge tend to leave very defined stair-step lines. I could probably fine-tune my skill a little, but I find just going over with some gray really does the trick. Okay, let's see. So I'm gonna let it dry. I'll pop them out. When I cut these letters, I actually cut them on 3M adhesive and just held them together with masking tape in the bag, so that way they stayed in their nesting square for ease of paint. Well, thank you for joining me today. I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry, and then I'll assemble my sign. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found these techniques helpful. If you have any other tutorials you would like me to make, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can also see some more of my videos on my video gallery on my website, juliediditstudios.com. We're also trying to keep my YouTube channel more up to date with videos. Currently, my videos are all being posted directly to my Facebook group, Julie Did It Studios Glowforge Community. If you're not a member, you're more than welcome to come join and see the videos there, because they're all there right now until we get them all transferred over to the website and to YouTube. But anyway, if you have questions or want to leave me a comment, I would appreciate it. If not, join me next time when I teach you how to do the galvanized metal paint technique. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.